everybody, good morning and welcome to the Vox Akuma Writer's Room. Thank you very much for coming out, everyone. I understand your schedules must have been busy today, but I really appreciate your attendance nonetheless. I have invited you out here today because I think this would be fun. Essentially, we were having a conversation the other day about the potential of what would happen if we decided to write a story together, but it was actually like something we put a lot of time into. So I had the idea of making this sort of members content, but I wanted for this to be something that we could begin with everybody, and then if people like the idea, we'll move on to it with members. Because I know it's not like the most sensational idea in the world. Oh, it's loud music. Jesus. Shut up. I know it's not something that's like, you know, it's not something that I would want to do all the time, but I do want to do it all the time with members so that it can be something chilled and relaxed, and I think that's going to be really nice. So, here's how this is going to work. This, what I have right here, is the industry standard screenwriting software. This is called Final Draft, and I bought it this morning, and I've got a funny story about this. So I used to have a copy of this a long time ago, but I bought today when there's a new version, Final Draft 12. I bought it this morning, but the website was being really weird. So I bought it this morning, and then the website went a little funny. The website went a little hilarious on me. Hold on, I'm just gonna... The website went a little hilarious on me, and I accidentally bought it twice. I bought it once, but it didn't give me a confirmation page or anything. It just sent me straight back to the main menu, and I was like, oh, did I fuck it up? All right, I guess I'll just do the purchase screen again. And then I check my emails, and I'm like, oh wait, I now have 2 copies of this. So I mean, hey, if any of you guys need some screenwriting software, I can hook you up. Yeah, it's expensive as well. I was like, oh no. I might be able to refund it, yeah. Or I might lend it to a friend, who knows. Go! Thank you for the Arca Super. Hi, my lord. Today's your birthday. A kiss on your cheek, of course, my darling. Of course you can have a kiss on your cheek. And Sal, thank you for the super. So, let me show you how this works. So, screenwriting is very different from just sort of writing prose or writing something normal. There's a very specific way that it has to be formatted. If you, as a quote-unquote screenwriter, sent a script to a production company and it was not formatted in this way, it would be thrown out at the door. They would look at the first page and they would probably throw it into the fire if it wasn't formatted like this program helps you format it. That is how the industry works, and there is no other way around that. That is just what we have to deal with. So, for example, right? Let's write something silly so I can show you what this looks like. Because I know a lot of you might know, but a lot of you probably don't either. So, let's start with this, right? You start each with a scene heading, and it's always laid out like this. So let's say it's taking place in a room, interior. Vox Akuma's bathroom, day. Simple. You have short, sweet, all caps description of what's going on. Vox Akuma's bathroom. Boom. Next up, it'll automatically send you over to a description of action, which is written in essentially just prose, right? And so what you would do is you would say, Vox Akuma is... okay. Lesson number 1 of screenwriting. The person who is reading your screenplay may not necessarily know who your characters are. And they need to know from moment 1 what they look like, what their motivations are, and what they're going to be doing. So, instead of writing Vox Akuma is taking a shit, what we're going to write is Vox Akuma is a young-looking, albeit very old man with long, dark red hair. And now something else, actually, that I'm doing wrong. Important details, put them in caps. Long, dark hair with red streaks. Hold on. He's wearing a caps, white suit, and black cloak. Those stick out, right? And to... It's fucking Slack! Shut up! I'm teaching right now. Those stick out, and so to production people, they can look at that, and without reading through a melange or a wall of text, they can then, without looking through a wall of text, they can get the important parts of the script right away. Because when you're on set, you need to be able to work quickly, especially if you're working on location, okay? So, with and a long black cloak. So now we know what the character looks like. He is sat with his head in his hands. Yeah, with his head in his white black cloak. He is sat with his head in his hands with black nail polish. And is trying to take a shit. Immediately, the scene is made apparent. And actually, what we could do with is a little bit of room description as well. Vox Akuma is a young-looking, albeit very old man with a long dark hair and red streaks, wearing a white suit and black cloak. The bathroom is very plain. And when you're writing screenwriting descriptions, you can be funny. If you guys have ever read the screenplay for Breaking Bad, the first episode includes a ton of jokes in the screenplay. Like it opens up when the Breaking Bad opens up on the RV rocketing through the thing, and it has like all of those establishing shots, right? It opens up, and in the screenplay, it's written like we open up on a typical Albuquerque desert landscape, and it writes like it could be one of those "It's the Cheese" commercials, right? You can have a bit of fun while you're writing it if it helps the person reading to understand, because at the end of the day, while a screenplay is used to be a tool on a set to create a film, it's also a work of art in itself, and you should treat it as such. The bathroom is very plain. Almost like a school bathroom with blue linoleum floors. Oh, shit. Whoa. Fuck that up. Hang on. Wait, what did I do? I don't know the hotkeys for this. I pressed a button and I think it was like, oh, you want a new screenplay, do you? No, I don't. Wait a minute. Oh, there it is. It just opened on top of the first one. No, we're good. We're good. Resume. Mooney, thank you for the Arca Super tuition fee for Writing 101. Mwah, thank you very, very much. Although if this was a real university, your tuition fees would be much higher. Airy Bean and Now X Now, thank you very much. Okay. Blue linoleum, almost like a school bathroom with blue linoleum floors and a couple dust bunnies in the corner. This is what my bathroom was like in my old apartment, because we used to live in a place that would like gather dust very, very fast. Like you would go to sleep and after cleaning the dust out, and it would just reappear. So after a while you just become complacent. A couple dust bunnies in a corner of the floor. He is sat with his head in his hands with black nail polish and is trying to take a shit. Immediately, the scene has been set. We have a room that he's in. We have his costume. And so someone who has no idea who Vox Akuma is knows what he looks like, what his bathroom looks like, and the fact that he's trying to take a shit. Boom. We could have been more efficient than this, honestly. But, this is pretty appropriate, I think. So, then, when you get started, I would press Tab, and now we describe the character. So once you write this down, any character name that starts dialogue is in the center of the page like this, right? And this is why I'm saying if you want to write a screenplay, this software is expensive, but there are some free softwares you can get. So Fade In is a really good piece of free software that you can get, and Celtex is a free website that you can use to get this plot going, right? So, Vox Akuma, what is some dialogue that he can say in this instance, right? And also, if you hit Tab, you can add a parenthetical, so pained. Or this could be standing up, or this could be... Yeah, let's say pained. So this informs like the tone of voice, right? Hit Enter, move on to the sort of like the middle part. Okay. Which one of you doesn't have to flush a toilet after you've had a shit? So what am I going to say? I mean, I would never normally say something while I was on the toilet, would I? And I think that's the main crux of the situation, is that I'm using this as like a tutorial to show you how this actually works, right? Excuse me. So, pained. Vox Akuma, pained. What is he going to do from here? Let's just, okay, suspend disbelief. Let's imagine this is a universe where I talk to myself while I'm pooping, okay? In all my years upon this bitch of an earth, never have I found solace like a good cold toilet seat. Brilliant. That's how it is on this bitch of an earth. And so then what we can do from there is we can add anything we like. Let's go a little crazy right now, okay? Freddy Fazbear. Freddy Fazbear, a 8-foot tall animatronic bear. Something you might see in a haunted Chuck E. Cheese establishment. Busts down the door. Freddy, you must come with me. There is danger afoot. And now there's one last thing I'll show you is how do I write dual dialogue? I need to figure this out because that's a really important little bit of formatting to kind of. They do this a lot in the screenplay for Marriage Story. Is that they have sort of when there's like an argument transpiring, like during Marriage Story's opening, or not the opening, they're during the argument scene, there are a ton of moments where you'll have two instances of dialogue side by side. And essentially what this is trying to do is the director or the writer is trying to tell those in the scene that the order of dialogue doesn't really matter. The characters could be talking over each other. One could go after the other. It doesn't matter. These two are really cutting into each other and they're trying to sort of, and this is a way of portraying that. Kuri-san, thank you for the Super. I miss you too, babu. Mwah! Okay. Do you wish to save? Do not ask me this again, but turn autosave on. Yes. Okay. Can I zoom in a little? That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? There you go. That ought to be good. All right, let me move it over a bit as well. Okay. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. How do I do dual dialogue? Elements. Oh, dual dialogue. There you go. Okay. Box Akuma. Hang on. It's grayed out. How do I fix that? There you go. Boom. I just put that in there. I just put that in there to make the formatting work. So yes. Oh shit. Okay. Wait. Okay. So this is our scene. Vox immediately stands up, cock hanging out, and follows Freddy into the unknown. And then at the end, you would write your scene transition in the bottom right. So, intro top left, outro bottom right, and it would be cut to black. Cut to black. Wait, can I? End of series. Boom. That's what a screenplay looks like. It's very silly, but this is what a screenplay looks like, essentially. So this is what we're going to be working on. This is a limited series, such a limited series, in fact, that it consists of only 3 lines of dialogue and one scene in one room. Really, like, quite an avant-garde piece of art, if I do say so myself, right? What the hell am I cooking? This is just to teach you motherfuckers how this works, okay? It's fine. Without pulling my pants up. Yeah, man. All right. Start again. Now that I've taught you guys how this works. What are we going to write a story about? Let's think about some key genres, right? Let me make a poll, actually. Let me make a poll. Let me make a little poll. Okay. Let's start. I'm going to give you guys some key genres, and you're going to vote, okay? Start a poll. Genre. Horror. Romance. Fantasy. Or... Thriller. Boom. And I'm going to leave that up for a little while. A lot of votes for horror and romance, neck and neck. I mean, horror and romance can go hand in hand, you know what I'm saying? Why not all? Ah. Well, horror, romance, and fantasy appear to be in quite contention with each other. A horror... Okay. Okay. I'll leave this a little longer, because only half of you have voted so far, but I'll let this play out. All of the above. I like the idea of all of the above. Horror romance often falls flat if not executed properly. You're absolutely right. What if we did execute it properly, though? Or perhaps we played a little bit of subversion on romance in a horror scenario, right? Something a little different. What I'm thinking is, if it was horror romance, I'd like to imagine romance from the perspective of one character, but not from another. And so what you would wind up with is something very sort of like dark and surreal and scary, where someone who maybe originally would have been the main character turns out to be more of a villain as the story progresses. Yeah, like Passengers, but not shit. Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Okay, I like these results. I like these results a lot. Okay, so this is good. This is very good. So those are our results. Horror romance with a little bit of fantasy thrown in. Okay. Now let me. Okay, so this is my elevator pitch, right? This is my elevator pitch. Do you remember on the members stream, I told you guys about an idea for a story where it's about a guy. It's about a guy who makes videos of mealworms eating things, and then eventually he starts feeding people to the mealworms. And I said that it's a very simple, kind of stupid plot, but it would work well if we had a really compelling main character, right? What if we go with that premise, but there's something in the character's backstory that relates to a romance that never played out properly? God, this sounds so cheesy now that I'm saying it out loud. Like, it sounds so much like, you know, not quite Emoji Movie level, but almost like someone watched, some 50-year-old executive watched, like, a TikTok of, like, satisfying videos and was like, what if we made one of these into a movie? I feel like it's kind of got that sort of unfortunate connotation. Maybe not. Maybe not. Yandere. Well, maybe not in the typical sense. Maybe not in the typical sense. We would need to make it, I don't know. Because remember, I'm not a weeb, I'm a Westerner. Alright, I'm a normie. So I would write it in my way of understanding. Mealworm girlfriend. Forbidden love, spirits and humans. There is that. So we know we want to make a horror movie with some kind of romantic twist. It could either be a play on, it could either be like a genuine romance, or it can be a subversion of those expectations, and it could be sort of like, you know, like you guys have said, one character is in love with another character who very much doesn't requite it, and this plays into some kind of terrifying horror scenario. I don't know. As soon as I say this out loud, it feels very tropey to me, you know. Like, I can see so many examples of this playing out in other films that have happened before. And I get, yeah, a lot of all art is based on other art, blah, 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 blah. But I think that something I'm considering right now is, like, I don't know, having a plot with a genuine twist to it, I think would be a lot more effective in this scenario than just something that leads very clearly to its ending. Everyone wants yaoi, okay. Alright, BL, fine. I get it, okay, fine. We'll make it gay. We can do that. Stockholm Syndrome. Beauty and the Beast. Well, I'm almost reminded of a certain trope where it's like character tries to escape containment, but in the end chooses not to leave, you know? How long am I going to be on today? Probably only until 1 p.m. because I need like a good hour to set up for the knitting hand cam. This is supposed to just be a trial run. We're just going to figure some stuff out, get the plot rolling, and then this is going to continue. Alright guys, I'm going to ask you something. I'm going to ask you like really seriously. Let's try not to think tropey right now. Try to put your like your really base interests to one side and let's think about what is best for the story, right? Begging for like, oh, let's make it into like a really typical sort of tropey, you know, boy love manga. First of all, I have never read a BL manga before. I don't know how I would portray that properly. Second of all, I feel as though it's like, I feel like we're straying from the main point, you know. Let's try and make something right for the story, okay? Because a lot of the time when you write something, you need to put your own interests second to what makes the story good. And your interests make it good from the get-go, but when you progress later on, sometimes going with the coolest or most sexy option isn't necessarily what's most satisfying for the viewer, so. Now, enemies to lovers is tropey, but I am happy with that, though. So, See, I'm reminded of this film I watched a little while ago called Barbarian. And the whole thing with Barbarian is that the great movie monster is like a victim in itself. And so it's all about like, oh, the monster just wants something very human that we all want. Like in Barbarian, the monster just wants to be a mum. And it's like this great hulking, gangly, you know, naked lady with weird teeth and all of that kind of stuff. And like, you know, she like forcefully breastfeeds the main characters and stuff like that. But you learn the backstory and she's like, can you guys stop spamming Voxto? I am not writing fanfic. For fuck's sake, guys, we are writing a standalone story here. Calm the fuck down. I am not writing a extended screenplay about me fucking one of my friends. Calm down, guys. Jesus Christ. Have, like, an original idea for once in your fucking lives. If you want Voxto, write it yourself. Stop spamming. I have seen you say Voxto, and my answer is fuck no. There's enough of that. I want to make something that we could genuinely turn into a film one day. Go to AO3. Seriously. I mean, there's plenty of Voxto content in my streams anyway. I'm not about to devote an entire series to the motherfucker. Reverse anarchy, where two characters falling in love results in one of them becoming a monster. Oh, like Twilight. The human loves the monster through the hell. Not like Twilight. See, I like that. I like that a lot because relationships can cause people... Relationships can move people in a direction that maybe isn't ideal for them. You know, they can change as a person really fundamentally. And maybe... Oh, shit. Sorry, I fucked up my mic. Maybe, hold on. Yeah, there we go. Maybe using that as a, you know, horror as a visual medium to tell sort of an allegorical story maybe about what happens to a person. An allegorical story about what happened. Okay, I'm gonna make a fucking text thing on the screen. We are not writing fanfic. Please stop asking for your OTPs. I'm trying to do something unique here, guys. Please. Oh. Just add the background. There you go. There you go. Leads to a monster thing, yeah. But I think that when we write romance, a film isn't really a romance if there is no romance. One-sided sort of, I would say, like an obsessive, you know, unrequited love that leads to a horror scenario isn't necessarily romance at all. It's sort of, isn't necessarily romance at all. That, to me, is just pure horror, right? So I think having these characters wind up genuinely a place of workshop the specifics of the story. Now that, yeah, no, we're getting there. We're getting there, definitely. So I very much like the idea that this is about a relationship that is ordinary to begin with, but there is some supernatural element caused by the relationship, and then the sort of drama of the story in and of itself is about whether or not these characters can learn to live with that monstrous supernatural side of this relationship and to make it work. And it also needs to be genuinely terrifying. So, Now, I want to avoid, like, typical horror stuff because I feel like one of the greatest hallmarks, at least for my money, of the best romance films is that they don't rely... Now, I love Twilight, but I think the best romance films are ones that do not rely on the audience being attracted to the characters. I mean... You know, I might be a little bi-curious, but like overall, I would not say that I'm all that sexually attracted to men. However, my favorite movie is Call Me by Your Name. I'm not romantically or sexually interested in either of the main characters, but their story is so overall beautiful and so interesting that it's beautiful on its own. It does not need to rely on sort of those base traits in order to make it interesting, okay? So, here's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna write down a base description. So not action, scene heading. But oh no, that's okay, that's all caps, never mind. Not scene heading. General, here we are. So let's use this to describe what we're talking about, okay? So All right. Here comes that fantasy element, okay? I'm bringing it back from the poll. I'm bringing it back. Two lovers living in a fictionalized, fantastical Victorian England live together, decide to move together into the stately home of the father of one of their recently deceased fathers. They, while living together, one of the two lovers seems to be afflicted by some supernatural force, although it does not present itself in this way at first. At first, it seems as though they are becoming angry, depressed, and... becoming angry, depressed, blah, blah, blah. Angry, depressed, etc. However, the other of the two lovers finds these supernatural happenings before the other comments on them. They can hear... They can hear movement and noises in the night that they cannot place. And when investigating, they find their lover has become a monster, ghost, whatever the fuck, due to the spirit of their father that has yet to leave the house behind. Now, this is sort of like a very basic plot, and there are already a bunch of problems with it. But I think... Kindred Brandon Meowpuff, thank you very much. Oh, character-based, absolutely. I think that's the main thing, because I don't know. I kind of feel like raw fantasy that doesn't have any basis on real-world thoughts and experiences can be very dull, you know. Like, here's a really good example, right? Lord of the Rings. Return of the King, the film, is very American because the hobbits go back home to the Shire and everything is wonderful again, nothing's been changed, and they get through, after going through all of that difficulty, they return home and they're fine. However, what you need to understand is that Lord of the Rings books were written by Tolkien, who was a... did Tolkien fight? He did, didn't he? Tolkien fought in a war, and the thing about, you know, British soldiers who fought in a war is that there was this, shell shock, as they called it back then, or PTSD, was such a huge thing prevalent among soldiers who returned from the war that it's almost as though, whether you make it back or not, you will die on the battlefield. And so, in the original Lord of the Rings, when the hobbits return to the Shire, it's been razed to the ground. It's called the Scouring of the Shire. The Shire is lost and it's gone, and all they can do is begin to rebuild it. The book's ending, yeah, much more melancholic. And I think that's a really nice way of seeing the difference between how real-world experiences inform something that should be purely fantastical, right? So I think that in this scenario, what you've got is you have one of these lovers has an irreversible attachment to their father. This father would have perhaps been, you know, maybe there's nothing sort of evil or supernatural about the family itself. They're just sort of like a rich family, have this house, but one day, father dies in mysterious circumstances, and it's whether or not there's some supernatural element, it's defined by this main character, or one of these lovers, being completely unable to leave the memory of their father behind. So, I'm just wondering, because I can't help but feel like There needs to be real horror here. There needs to be a real horror element, because I'm not scared thinking about some weird gangly monster running around a house at night, and then when they get found, there's some recognizable facial feature, and they're like, oh my god, it was you all along. I'm gonna give you cuddles, or whatever it is. What's the title? Now, listen, what you gotta understand is... Can we not have spam in chat, please, guys? You know, just control yourselves. Oh god, I lost my train of thought now. But yeah, like, there needs to be a real horror element here. Like, something genuinely interesting and scary that makes this dynamic actually heartbreaking, right? Because otherwise, if the only drama of the story is that one of these lovers gets a really, you know, gets a really big, tall, sexy monster boyfriend, then, like, what's the problem? Right? What's the problem? Let me think. Let me think. I'm trying to think about the thing that scared me the most recently, which is the Mandela Catalogue. The concept behind the Mandela Catalogue works, I think, because it's something that you wouldn't notice had happened until it happened, right? See, the thing is about the fantasy setting is that I'm not sure if I find it all that scary, you know? I'm not sure if I find it all that scary at all, because I don't live in my Victorian father's, my deceased Victorian father's stately home. God, the more I think about this plot, the more I don't like it. The more that I think about this plot, the more it kind of seems like it would be very easy just to make it super, like, I don't know, campy and... I don't know. Okay. Barring, plot, let's just get rid of that for a second. I've got an idea. Let's write it out like this, okay? Write it out like dialogue, and we'll give the characters names. So we've got lover... No, not dialogue. We want character. Lover number 1. And then under the dialogue, we'll describe this character. So regardless of setting, we'll describe what this character is like. Now, there's another thing that when... Narrow it back down to 1 or 2 genre. Yeah, which genre to lean into? I feel like horror should be the main one. That's what I'm feeling. And also because I don't think I necessarily have the skill as a writer to make a really compelling romance yet. You know, I haven't had that much practice, so... When I think about horror that really affects me over time, it tends to be something that I don't really understand all that well. Like, let's think about probably the greatest horror movie ever made, Shining. You never... It's effective because you never know what is actually going on. The horror of the situation is in characters being locked in a... It's almost... Well, I hesitate to say it's Lovecraftian, but it is in a sense, because what you wind up with is a force beyond our understanding, control, or whatever, that just simply by being near it for long enough, you go insane and try to murder your entire family. So I almost feel like maybe instead of having... Because maybe that was why I didn't enjoy the way we were writing up the story to begin with, right? Was that it was so straightforward. It was so like, oh, possessed by the ghost, and then they learn to love each other. It's like, well, you've already seen the film, you know, as soon as I describe that. So, when Too literal, exactly. Much too literal. I'd rather it be something sort of not necessarily difficult to understand, but something where the plot is vague enough and sort of interesting enough that it doesn't get in the way of the characters. You know, it's vague enough to create real blood-curdling horror, but it's also present enough to be genuinely... but it's also, like, vague enough that it doesn't distract from the characters. Coming up with something from scratch is hard. Coming up with something from scratch is very hard. Something they don't understand. Oh God, I mean, could almost do. Oh God, now I'm thinking about the ending of Martyrs, like the kind of the surreal, seeing what lies beyond kind of thing. Oh yeah. Well, I feel like I've got a good concept in here somewhere. But there's just like one little thing in the way that we need to just get rid of. I'm trying to figure out what it is. We could, instead of like writing a really key description, what we could do is try giving just like bullet points. You know, key themes, key this, key that, that kind of thing. Okay. Level with me on this, guys. Nabi, thank you very much for the Akasupa. Asked me to give the tuition to you. Oh. Well, good. I'm glad I can give that to you, certainly. Okay. Here's another idea I've got. So, when I mentioned Lovecraft, I've suddenly, like, being reminded of, like, The Color Out of Space, which I watched a little while ago, and that was really good. Well, flawed, but, you know, Nicolas Cage starts talking like Donald Trump for some reason halfway through. He's like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. It was a weird film, but I enjoyed it. Okay, hear me out, right, guys? Hear me out. Couple is already together, and things are just fine in their relationship, right? Things are just sort of like, they are as they are. They've been together for maybe a little while. They've got a good routine going. They've got a good sort of sense of, okay, this is what I want. This is how it is, blah, 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 blah. It's fine. Something happens to one of them, and we don't know what it is. We don't know where it comes from. We don't know how it is, but something gets inside one of the others, and we don't know what it is. It could be knowledge of something beyond human comprehension. It could be a spirit. It could be some kind of a possession. It could be something else, but something gets inside, and it starts to kill one of them, or it starts trying to take over the other person, right? And what we're left with is these two characters who do not know what's happening. They have no idea what's going on. And then by the end, something has happened to one of them. It's either like one of them has to sacrifice the other, one of them sacrifices themselves, but I would like it if it had a genuinely terrifying ending where whatever it is that got inside wins in the end. And it like, perhaps it's a malevolent something that manages to kind of, or, okay. Now here are the two, here's like the crux of what I'm thinking right now, okay? Dialogue. We've got two options, right? Here's option number one. So, option one. Here's option one. Creature, ghost, phantom, etc. possesses one member of a happy, healthy relationship. Ends after couple tries everything to save the one affected, with the ghost winning. It fully takes over the person, kills the safe one, and is released into the world to cause more havoc. Now, this one makes it more personal. This one makes it more sort of... It's almost more Hollywood, in a way, right? Because it's all about these two main characters being important in some way. Now, here's the other one. Option 2. One of two lovers sees something somewhere that they were... Oh, God! So in the Mandela Catalog Volume 4, there's a during the opening, there's a great scene where it's all about Adam and Eve and like the apple and all of that kind of stuff. And there's a really, really good visual of Eve lying down on the ground and looking up, and she says, when I looked up, I saw the man staring back down at me. So here's, okay, one of two lovers is lying in their garden staring at the stars. They see something in the stars that gets inside their head and begins to drive them mad. But neither understand what it is or really where it came from. Ends with both. Now this is a very interesting concept, but I feel as though... Now, Driven to Madness can be very difficult to get right. Because I think... Let's go back to one of my favorite movies I was talking about earlier, Marriage Story, right? Marriage Story is a movie about a couple falling out of love. It's about a couple... Well, they are still in love in a sense, but they move on from one another, and they have to. There is only one argument in that entire film. There is so much build-up to that argument, that the argument, when it happens, is so fucking powerful and effective that it just takes over... You know, it's so powerful and effective because the film didn't feel the need to have a couple yelling at each other for 2 straight fucking hours, which would get really exhausting. So I think that this would be difficult, but it should sort of be slow acting, in a way. And ends with both... Let's think about this. How would it end? Because when it comes to cosmic horror is effective because it preys on the true and utter insignificance of humanity. The fact that we, as a species, believe that we are important. And what cosmic horror says is, no, we are so utterly and unbelievably small in every possible way. Every single thing on Earth that we believe in, that we have an interest in, that is important to us in any way, shape, or form, is utterly and completely insignificant. And if the great beings of the cosmos were to blink in our direction, it would all be snuffed out in an instant. That is the real horror of it. It's the melancholy of realizing that nothing you believe in actually matters. It's like, even to a normal person, you know, who isn't massively nihilistic and annoying to talk to, sorry, then this still it rings true, and it still does have, like, a real basis in horror, right? With body horror. Now that is interesting. It's almost like what they see in the stars has an instant impact on their body as well, right? Because our growth and our biology is, in a sense, based on our brains, on our DNA. Okay. Sees something in the stars that immediately alters their brain. From here, the brain alters their DNA, and their body begins to change. First, their mind deteriorates. Actually, first, their body contorts slowly. Their body contorts slowly over a few months. Neither knows what is happening. secondly, their mind begins to deteriorate, causing further friction in their relationship. In the end, the safe lover decides to put their lover down in order to save them from the pain they're feeling, but isn't able to without the now brain-dead and vicious partner they had once loved, inflicting a grievous wound on them as well, eventually killing them too. This sounds pretty good to me. I like this one. I like this one. This one's pretty good. It's not as though... That's the thing. Because if, let's say, all that happened was one of these lovers was looking at the stars and saw God, saw an elder god, saw something from the depths of the universe that they shouldn't have seen. They saw a flicker of it, and it was so devastating to that person's mind that it altered their DNA on a functional level. I mean, obviously that doesn't make any fucking sense, but it's a terrifying thing to think about, that witnessing something beyond your comprehension immediately dooms you and everyone you love to death. Now that's real horror, because there is no escaping it, but they're under the illusion that they can escape it the entire time. Yeah, I am thinking very Lovecraft, because, you know, I really enjoy Lovecraft a lot, so I like this idea. I like this idea a lot, actually. Okay, let's get rid of this and save that, and then general, boom. No, wait. Can I change this to general? I can. Okay. This is the plot summary. Let's talk about our characters. Let's talk about our characters. So... When did this become a cosmic horror? When we started writing it that way. It can be anything we want. So, who are our characters? Can they hate each other at first? No, I think the real horror is in them loving each other at first. The real horror is in their life being beautiful and idyllic and simple but happy. You know, like in The Color Out of Space, how this family has, you know, it has its issues, but they all live together and they're happy, and then the impact of the cosmos, you know, drives them apart. That we humans merely being exposed to the truth of the universe causes everything around us to fall apart. When and where is important too. Let's do character, and then we'll figure out setting as well. But already, I think that setting, I think modern day is fine in, like, a slightly remote... Not remote, let's say suburban. Let's say like a suburban, maybe like a gated community, where they've got a garden that's private enough that a lot of this horror can happen away from their neighbors, you know? Stuff is happening that, you know... Because if it's too densely packed, if it's like in the UK where all the houses are really bunched up and close together, then immediately it would be like a news fiasco, and that's not really what I want for this. I think that having it be small and contained kind of adds a little bit to the ambience. So... And I think that the crux of the romance element here is the fact that it's sort of allegorical in a way. It's allegorical for a relationship between two people where it seems fine, but someone develops a thing. It could be an illness, it could be a disability of some kind, it could be a negative personality trait, it could be anything. Something about their relationship changes. And I think that what it is, the deterioration of the body is about a test of their love. It's about, you don't look like the person I fell in love with, but I love you anyway, and I'll do anything to help keep you safe, but it's the deterioration of the mind that kills the relationship at the end. It's when the second lover is unable to recognize the first one that it's sort of, I would say, more like, you know, in a normal relationship, two people just changing, you know. Like, I've met people who have been in relationships and they say, yeah, you know, they would talk about their partners and say that they broke things off because it's like they had changed so much they barely recognized them anymore. And that's a tragic part of life, and that's a tragic part of relationships, but it happens and it's real. And I think that finding sort of a, you know, an allegorical description of that can be pretty, I think that's a pretty interesting idea, you know. You hit the point where you can't do it anymore. Exactly, exactly. You hit the point where it's no longer healthy for someone there to stick by them, you know. And I would like to say that I don't think the deterioration of the mind should be related to, well, I mean, as someone with, you know, a fair bit of, you know, his own mental stuff, I don't think that there's anything wrong with acknowledging that it can make relationships difficult. So, you know, I would say let's avoid thinking about what, like, the actual specifics and syntax of the meaning of the story is. It's for the viewer to interpret in their own way, but we know vaguely that it's about a change in someone's mind that makes the relationship impossible, and it's portrayed through real guttural horror that, you know, especially in long-term relationships, how devastating that can be to a group of people, right? Okay. Characters. Let's get back on track with this a little bit, okay? Somehow my coffee is still warm. Nice. Okay. Do they have children? No. Mainly because I don't know how to write children. Okay. So, let's say lover number 1, the safe one. This, okay. Let's think about a real relationship dynamic. Let's think about, Thank you very much for the supers to Yoisu, Avis, and Reinhardt. Mwah. Thank you, guys. So, lover number 1, the safe one. This person is an organized and hardworking. This person is organized and hardworking, and they love tending to their partner's needs. We see this long before the horror begins. They take care of the house. Oh God. I just thought, what if they have a dog? No, I'm like, that happens in every fucking horror movie that the dog dies. I don't want the dog to die in this story. Because I know if I put a dog in, the dog would need to die eventually. And I just don't want to do that. And thank you for the super. Ashley, thank you for the super. Maybe the sane one wants to leave but finds that they can't. Not because they can't leave physically, but is stopped by their own insecurities. What if they can't leave in the end? What if they literally physically cannot leave, and that is a metaphor for the inability, perhaps in, let's take it a step further, in an abusive relationship, how difficult it is for the abused half to leave the relationship, right? A physical representation of entrapment within a relationship. Okay, I like that idea. They take care of the house. And, okay, let's add a little bit of angst here, okay? Let's add the first problem that can begin to cause problems. So, and have put their personal dreams to one side for the benefit of their relationship. They have an interest in science. Well, let's, science is an example. They have an interest in science and an interest in science, love to learn, love to read, and a generally a very clever person. That said, their partner's needs, thanks to low self-esteem, outweigh their own needs. And although they are mostly happy about this, it does cause some resentment and friction for their relationship. This is something that can definitely be played into later on. So we've got someone who already has problems and they've already got something going on, but it's not really gonna, come out until push comes to shove. Right, let's start on the lover number 2. Lover number 2. The changed one. This is cool. Oh, I'm having fun. Okay. Lover number 2. So, lover number 2 struggles with day-to-day life, but has a lot of genuine gifts that have helped this relationship to become very financially stable. They work very hard at their day job, and while they can be very inconsiderate and forgetful of their partner's needs, they always do their best to apologize and make up when they can. Or rather, make it up to them when they can. Their inability to concentrate on multiple things at once means that lover number 1 has no choice. Also, another thing about screenplays, if you mention another character in action or in dialogue, actually just in action, you write their name in caps, because it's easier to read. There's nothing more soul-crushing than the person who gasses the person up with insecurities to say, I cannot keep losing so you can win. Yeah. That's some raw shit, yeah. The lover number 1 has no choice to wear the pants in the family and provide where this lover fails to. That said, their relationship feels genuinely happy to begin with. And they care for one another genuinely, and they care for one another enough that these shortcomings don't seem to matter. Or at least that's how it is to start with. Okay, I like this premise a lot. I think this is what I want to go for. So, one of 2 lovers is lying in their garden, staring at the stars. They see something in the stars that immediately alters their brain. From here, their brain alters their DNA, and slowly their body begins to change. First, their body contorts slowly over a few months. Neither knows what is happening. Secondly, their mind begins to deteriorate, causing further friction in their relationship. In the end, the safe lover decides to put their lover down in order to save them from the pain they're feeling, but isn't able to without the now brain-dead and vicious partner they had once loved inflicting a grievous wound on them as well, eventually killing them too. This is like if you show me a film or a book or a story where it just ends in absolute chaos and everyone is dead, I'm like, yeah, come on, yeah, this is my kind of shit. So lover number 1, the safe one. This person is organized and hardworking and they love tending to their partner's needs. That's an important part to remember, right? Even though they have dreams of their own, they do get genuine enjoyment and happiness from looking after their partner where their partner fails to look after themselves. We see this long before the horror begins. They take care of the house and have put their personal dreams to one side for the benefit of their relationship. They have an interest in science, love to learn, love to read, and are generally a very clever person. That said, their partner's needs, thanks to low self-esteem, outweigh their own needs, and although they are mostly happy about this, it does cause some resentment and friction for their relationship. And now lover number 2, the changed one, struggles with day-to-day life, but has a lot of genuine gifts that have helped this relationship to become very financially stable. They work very hard at their day-to-day job, and while they can be very inconsiderate and forgetful of their partner's needs, they always do their best to apologize and make it up to them when they can. Their inability to concentrate on multiple things at once means that lover number 1 has no choice but to wear the pants in the family and provide where this lover fails to. That said, their relationship feels genuinely happy to begin with, and they care for one another enough that these shortcomings don't seem to matter. I like this story. Okay. We've got quite a bit of time left as well, so we can actually make a start on the story itself. So let's page break. Does this have page break? I hope so. Title page? Oh. Actually, let's come up with a title for this at the end. That'll be the last thing we do. Okay. Can I have a page break, please? Where is that? Document. Page layout. Header and footer. Bookmarks. Tools. Production. Insert. Page break. There we are. Okay. So, scene heading. How do we begin this? Akaros, thank you for the super. Any suggestion? Changed lover isn't 100% gone or dead. Drags themselves to comfort safe lover and they both go to the other side to get... Oh, well... That's very angsty and very romantic, but... I think the idea of this, the tragedy in this, is that their mind is gone by the end. They have completely... They haven't died, but, you know, it's almost like this relationship... That's the other thing about Lovecraft, is you remember, romance is a very... It's a very human thing. You know, it's all about our very selfish, very sort of entitled emotions, really. And the whole idea is that the elder gods, or, you know, Cthulhu, whoever it is, the truth of the universe is so grand and so vast and is so beyond us that if we were to be affected by it, we wouldn't have the luxury of any part of what makes us human. I think... Have I thought of a title? That's going to come at the end. In the last 10 minutes of the stream, we'll try and figure out an ending. Oh, not an ending, a title. We already have an ending. Okay. I already have an idea for an establishing shot, okay? All right. Next. Exterior. Suburban, garden. Night. I already have a perfect fucking idea for how this is going to open. A low... Alright, let me try and find some good music to set the scene, okay? Okay. What I'm thinking is a low, sort of droning sound. Just a... You know, like something very under the hood, very atmospheric, just sort of bringing us into the story right from the get-go. A low, droning sound echoes. We sit in the... okay. That's another thing... Oh, God. There is another thing about screenplays. You're really not supposed to describe shots, because that's for the director to figure out. But we can have a little bit of wiggle room, okay? Ryan Hatz, thank you very much. You could make the ending open to interpretation, like, are they really dead? Or... we'll think about it. I mean, obviously, we're not going to write the actual ending for a while, and we've always got the chance to change it. Evelyn, thank you. Of course! Yes! The safe lover, they like science. Giving them a fucking telescope is brilliant, right? Okay. A low droning sound echoes. We sit in an empty... We sit in a typical suburban garden. It's quite large. With tall fences. Very private. There's a barbecue. A glass table. There's a barbecue and a glass table with 2 chairs. The grass is well tended to. We look up into the stars, which are very bright. Faintly, a bluish, purplish nebula swirls behind them. So bluish is a word, but purplish, I guess without the E. Purplish. That's cute. The drone grows louder until deafening. Until... Cut to int kitchen day. Boom. Silence. Fantastic intro, right? You guys can imagine that from moment one, right? You guys can really picture what that would be like. Purplish sounds like a Sims word. It kind of does, doesn't it? So you can imagine how this is. You see the garden. You see it's the... Okay, actually, let's make sure a low droning sound echoes. We sit in a typical suburban garden. Quite well tended to. It's attached to a house. Only 1 floor. But very modern and quite quite nice. The walls are clean. The walls are a clean grayish stone. I use lots of ish on colors. I don't know. I don't like to be too specific with colors. I'll just let them figure that out, you know. Violet nebula? Nah, bluish purplish sounds a lot more like what I would say. I'm leaving that. I think it's funny. The walls are a clean grayish stone. Actually, I used too many of that. Are a clean, let's say, creamy stone. Yeah, that's good. Walls are a clean, creamy stone. The roof is a modern gray tile. And there's a nice, big, sliding glass door leading out onto the garden. We look up into the stars, which are very bright. Faintly, a bluish, purplish nebula swirls behind them. The drone grows louder until deafening. And then, boom, cut to silence in the kitchen. Ba-ba-boom. Ba-ba-boom. We have an interesting introduction, and I'm happy with it. Okay, cool. Let's move on. We need to get a good scene with some dialogue. So, we also need to come up with names for these guys. Okay. Fanfic writers among you, or just writers in general, find me character names that have a poetic meaning that relates to their plight. Delfonzio? No! How old are they? I'm gonna say they're sort of like... I'm gonna say mid-20s. I'm gonna say they're fresh out of, like, they've gone through their education, they've been in the world of work for a while, and they've, because of, like, the less considerate one, the one who winds up getting fucked over, they, have been able to find a nice living. Like, they've really, they've got quite lucky, and they have a nice house out in the burbs. Everyone is saying Vincent. Why Vincent? Listen, Egon is a wonderful name. I don't know if I think about suburban Britain or America and someone called fucking Egon. There are so many fantasy names here. Christopher... Jeff. My name's Jeff. Walter. Fitzwilliam? Name one of them after a star. Oh, that's clever! We can't make it too on the nose, though. It needs to feel real, because if it's like the one who gets fucked up by the stars is just named after a star, it's kind of like obvious. Okay, do I have my phone? Or can I look this up? Hold on. Hold up. Okay. Names meaning star. Stella. Stella is nice, because that sounds like an actual name. You've got Astra here. And I know there's a member of NIJISANJI with a female, with a gender bend called Astra, but still. Nova? Nah, that's too obvious. Yeah, Stella sounds good for one of them, Estelle. And then something very sort of... Okay. I like Stella or Estelle for one of them. Okay. A lot of people are saying Vincent. What does the name Vincent actually mean? Vincent name meaning. To conquer. I don't know if that's very fitting of this character. He doesn't know? What do you mean I don't know? Is there a Vincent from pop culture that I'm forgetting? Vincent van Gogh, who made Starry Night. And you're right, Meowie. Vincent means to conquer, but he can't overcome this trial. The irony of having a character named Vincent after Starry Night and meaning to conquer, and yet this is a challenge he cannot defeat. Okay. Vincent and Stella will be our couple. That sounds good. I like that. Alright. Silence. Vincent. A Late 20s man with blonde hair. Blonde hair. Average height. Average height, but handsome. With, okay, we also have to make these with blonde hair. Average height. But handsome. And blonde hair. I'm gonna say brown eyes. And average height, but handsome. Wears a grey hoodie and jeans. He's chopping vegetables in a pretty, in a very clean, modern kitchen. It's so clean, in fact, it seems kind of sterile. Is chopping vegetables, but which vegetables? Chopping, let's say onion. Chopping onions in a very clean modern kitchen. It's so clean, in fact, it seems kind of sterile. The oven is on, and from the silence, slowly, we hear it whir. He glances outside. He sees his partner. What was it we were gonna do? Stella. Yeah. Yeah, he is a male wife, isn't he? Oh, right, we were gonna do... I completely forgot about that. We were gonna do like a gay thing. Is there like a man's name that means... Stella can be androgynous. Okay. Oh, but Stella with an R being the male version, that's way too... Like, I feel like that's way too on the nose of a name to mean, like, something related to stars. I think that's so, like blatant. Stefan. Is that what that means? Vincent and Stefan. That's a Stefan name meaning. Crown. Well, it's not really very star related. The male versions of the name Stella sound too fantastical for me. I feel like it's a little weird. Yeah, let's stick with Stella. I think it's I don't know. It seems like, you know, the focus of this story isn't on the genders of the participants, and we just came up with these characters' names. You know, it's not a story about a couple. It's a story about, you know, how they're driven apart. So I don't think it matters terribly much. Cool. Okay. Yeah, it's not going to really focus on, like, the interplay or anything like that. It's just, they're just two characters, you know. Okay, he sees his partner, Stella, or in caps, Stella, wearing her, Stella, dark-haired and quite short, or we'll write those in caps as well, dark-haired and quite short, lying on her back out in the garden. He glances outside through a glass wall. Glass wall? No, not a glass wall. Through a glass door. Not a glass wall. What am I talking about? He sees his partner Stella, dark-haired and quite short, lying on her back out in the garden. She's staring up into the stars and is lying quite still. You guys, we said BL like a good hour ago when we hadn't even decided on the plot yet, just because you guys were begging for it. It's not a big deal. Like, this isn't about the gender of the participants. It's just a story about cosmic horror. And if you guys are gonna cancel me for it, I'll change it, but like, I don't think it matters all that much. Oh shit, it is day, isn't it? Never mind. Shush. It's fine. Fixed it. It's just neutral. The only reason she turned out to be a female is because we came up with the name Stella, and I was like, oh, that sounds like something related to stars, so that fits. You know, I didn't even think about it that way. Yeah, just move on, guys. The focus on this isn't on having some sexy boy characters that you like being in a relationship. This is not about that, you know. Oh, that's clever! Holy shit! That's clever. Lying quite still. He watches her with a big smile. But is interrupted when the oven dings. He turns, goes to work. He turns and goes to work plating up for dinner. Throughout this, he keeps glancing back at Stella. But she hasn't moved an inch. Now, and I want to make it also clear, I really wouldn't mind writing a story about two dudes either. Like, I want to make that very, very clear. I would really be happy to do that as well. This is just how it wound up being. Like, that's just how it is. Like, I don't care about stuff like that. Representation matters, and if it turned out to be that way, it would be for the best, and we would do that. But in this instance, I literally just came up with the name Stella and ran with it. I promise you it's not that deep, guys. Okay. So he keeps glancing back. You know, we can see from this that he's protective. You know, almost to a little bit of a silly extent, right? which he hasn't moved an inch. Once the food is ready, he wanders over to the glass door and slides it open. Crickets and the whistle of the night air can be heard. Fox. I forgot I did the tutorial like that in the beginning. Vincent. Vincent. Dinner's ready. You coming in? Another thing to remember about dialogue, guys. It takes a little while for dialogue to become natural. And it's tough, okay? So it might sound cringe to begin with, but it's iterating on it. We can come back and we can try and figure out how to make it sound more natural, okay? Because very rarely do you have a finished script that turns into a finished film. You know, drafts and stuff like that, you know, they keep coming back and coming forward. Oh, it's really, really difficult. So we begin with something that sounds just fine, and then we can iterate on it to make it more natural over time. Exactly. So we're just going to go crazy, write as freely as we want. Dinner's ready. You're coming in. Stella doesn't respond. Stella doesn't respond. There he is. We see her face, and she's smiling at the stars, but her ears don't even perk up when she hears his voice. Babe? Still nothing. Now, I've got a bit of an idea. He's gonna walk out there, but the key, he never once looks up. Like, he's only got his eyes on her. It's his sort of concern for her well-being and his concern for her, it's his concern for her well-being and his lack of concern for himself. He doesn't even want to know what she's looking at. He just wants to know that she's safe. So he's going to walk outside. Still nothing. Vincent walks with, Vincent, let's say, okay, once the food is ready, picks up one of the plates and wanders over to the glass door, sliding it open. Crickets and the whistle of the night air can be heard. Dinner's ready, you coming in. Stella doesn't respond. We see her face, and she's smiling at the stars, but her ears don't even perk up when she hears his voice. Babe? Still nothing. Vincent walks over with the plate of food still in his hand. Okay. I'm hesitant to do expository dialogue, really. Him not looking up can be consistent. I like that idea. I like that idea very much. So let's not have any expository dialogue, because, or maybe not until later, because yes, he has an interest in science, but I don't think, I had this idea that he would be like, oh, it's like, I know you wanna take interest in my hobbies, but this is ridiculous. It's like, we could have written that, but, Walks over with the plate of food still in his hand. It'll be hot for, it'll get cold. It'll get cold if you don't come inside. And then Stella's going to speak for the first time, I think. Oh, you're right. He probably does think like that she's just daydreaming. Perhaps, okay, here's an idea. If you get cold, if you don't come inside. He pauses for a moment. Vincent. Snapping his fingers. Oi. This immediately indicates that this is taking place in the UK. Oi. All right, now let's not try to place it in one specific place, okay? Or Australia, yeah. Oi. Oi, mate, yeah, you better wake up, fam. Oi. Motherfucking VB, long neck at 20 to 8 in the fucking morning. Thought I said American Suburban, though. Yeah, American Suburban kind of makes more sense. Yeah, making it Vegas for the best. 20 to 8 in the fucking morning. Get that up, yeah. Snapping his fingers. Snapping his fingers. Babe. Babe. I'm right here. Stella blinks. She seems to snap out of a trance. Oh, wait, I've got an idea. I've got an idea. Groggy. It's almost like she's woken up from a nap. She's... Oh, shit. Wait. What the fuck happened there? Hold on. There you go. She's groggy. Almost like she had been napping. Confused. Oh. Stellar, no. What program is this? It's called Final Draft 12. I bought it this morning. Nice, Stellar, nice. Oh, Bogang, that's a very clever idea, actually. That's a very clever idea. Okay. But then it doesn't really make much sense for someone to try and get your attention and to hum for it. Humming was her signal. So you're trying to say that, like, when she sort of drifts away, there's a certain way that he kind of, like, gets through to her. I like the idea, but I can't help but feel as though it's, like, a little bit too unrealistic, at least for the beginning of the story. But I like that idea as it goes on. As it goes on, maybe once we get to know this couple a little bit better, maybe that will believe a little bit better. Okay, Ina's Archive. This software is industry standard, but it's expensive. It's about like 150 quid. I would recommend, there is Celtex and there's Fade In. Those are two screenwriting programs, probably just as good, that are completely free. I would really recommend you try those if you want to get into screenwriting beforehand. There's lots of really, really nice free software that you can get. There as well, thank you for the gifted members. I really appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, literally anything but Google Docs, because remember, like I said, if your screenplay is not presented in this way, it will be thrown out at the door. You guys got to remember that. Okay. And now, what was he cooking? That's a good question. Made you some steak. Page's mistake. On ahead. She's almost drifted back off again, staring at the sky. Vincent keeps his eyes trained on her. Steamed ham. Oh, no. You know, if anything, that's fitting for this story because of when Skinner puts the Aurora Borealis in his kitchen. Vincent keeps his eyes trained on her. He holds out his hand. He holds out his hand and hums a little tune. It sounds comforting and warm. And she finally blinks to life. God, the dialogue is going to sound really basic to begin with. Well, yeah, no, like with steak, okay, cooking tangent. With steak, really the best way of making steak to get it a perfect medium rare, give it a quick sear in the pan with all of like the butter basting and the ingredients, and then vary on like a sort of a medium high-ish heat in the oven. Give it like a tiny bit longer so that it sort of cooks properly. Because when it's on a pan, all the heat is coming from the bottom, and you've got to keep flipping it, and you've got to keep turning it over, which can tend to mean that the sides get seared in the wrong way. But if you put it in the oven, just for a little bit, just stick the pan with those ingredients, thyme, garlic, whatever, straight in the oven, then it gets a very even cook, right? So, there you go. This man is a good cook. He is a male wife, okay? I put steak in the oven after I've seared it first. You guys, I know how to cook. Watch Gordon Ramsay's fucking steak tutorial. He does that. Dick. No microwave mac and cheese. Yes, thankfully, no. God, sorry. Flustered, forgot where she was. Guilty. Yeah, she's like, oh, it's like the whole, oh, shit, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that, you know, kind of thing. Chen Chen, thank you very much for the super. Man who writes hard is the sexiest. Yes, the saddest people come the loudest. God, sorry. Vincent sticks an arm out, and she takes it, and he lifts her up. And walk inside, arm in arm. Guilty for zoning out. I feel guilty for zoning out. I mean, I imagine he's trying his best not to make her feel guilty, but she probably is feeling guilty, you know what I'm saying? He's still carrying the plate. Yes. Yes, he's a male wife, because he's capable of carrying a plate evenly and helping you off the ground at the same time. Of course he is. I knew you'd know how to write a male wife character because you are one. Oh, you shut your mouth. You shut your mouth. Don't you state a true fact to me and act like it's going to make me embarrassed. Walk inside arm in arm. Add a little bit of like a cute couples moment, okay? Cute couples moment. See? He wafts the steak under her nose. Perfect meal. See? Wafts the steak under her nose. Mmm. Some shit like that. Mmm. There's something cute to happen right now. See? No, that's fucking stupid, actually. See? I think the C is fine, but then... Can I do a Stella impression? You just want me to do fucking Voxan, don't you?
Oh my god, I'm sorry, I zoned out again. I'm so quirky.
Are they a silly couple? I mean, any good couple has like a sense of fucking... a sense of humor with each other, you know? That's okay. I love that. I love that. See? He's like, see, this is probably gonna be, gonna be pretty nice. You forgot to put ketchup on it. Like I asked last time. And then he cuts her off. Okay, we'll do dual dialogue here. Vincent, you forgot to put ketchup on it like I asked last time. I'm not about to let you violate this perfectly good cut of steak. Like that. If you want to ruin it, cook it yourself. If you want to ruin it, cook it yourself. And then that's sort of... boom. I'm about to let you violate this perfectly good cut of steak like that. If you want to ruin it, cook it yourself. Nice. That's cute. That was a really good suggestion. I like that. Arthur, thank you very much. They have a red-haired dog named Van Gogh. I already said I wasn't going to put a dog in, because in a story like this, the dog would just die. In every single horror movie where it's some eldritch monster, the dog always runs off and dies. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to write a story where the dog dies, because that's just going to traumatize people. She goes, will the story continue in sequence, or will there be flashbacks like in Bardo? I think just in sequence, because for a thriller or something like, you know, an exciting story, I think having flashbacks can kind of tend to break up the narrative. Now, Bardo, it worked because it was sort of a non-literal, non-chronological, just melange of a person's brain, whereas this is more just a very simply told, horrible event that happened in two people's lives. So I like the idea, but I don't think it would really fit here. I could subvert expectations by adding a dog. I could subvert expectations by having a dog and then it doesn't die at the end. Any side characters? Yeah, I think neighbors popping by is a pretty nice idea. You know, maybe we could have, like, each visit from the neighbors is almost like a wake-up call, you know. Whenever the neighbors visit, it's like, you know, in the beginning, it's like, oh yeah, we're doing great, no, lovely to see you. And then the next time, it's like, yeah, no, they haven't been doing so well. Third time, oh no, they're not around, you know, and then it just sort of becomes like a checkpoint where they have to reckon with themselves, oh shit, this is happening, you know. So yeah, neighbors would be good. Get yourself. The pair of them... No, wait, no, that's still... Action. The pair of them walk inside with Vincent expertly balancing the dinner plate in his left hand and hooking through Stella and holding Stella arm in arm with his right hand. With his right. And that's good. Okay. We have setup. We have a beginning to a story, and it's only a couple of pages long, but I am pretty keen on this setup so far. I like it. I think that with some work on the dialogue and with... So, essentially, to give you guys a little bit of a... sort of a mental thing for this, right? Typically in screenwriting, 1 minute equals... 1 page equals a minute. So, to make this a feature-length film, 90 pages, roughly. So, yeah, over the course of, like, a good few streams, I think we can get there. I think we can genuinely finish this and just make a story, and then after that we can go back through, edit dialogue, and genuinely make something good, you know. Sounds impossible? Well, we'll never know until we try. Alright. With that said, let's make our title page. Okay? Okay. Script title, written by Vox, Akuma, and his Kindred. We have to come up with the title. Nana77, thank you for the Arca Super. You're really hot in the serious professional mode. Oh, thank you. It's very sweet of you. I love seeing you think, thinking and creating seriously. It's been nice. I loved the very silly writing we did with Mary and beforehand with Squike and Freddy Fazbear and stuff, but actually making something genuine and serious has been really refreshing. I've had so much fun with this. Another acting lesson with this script? That might be fun, actually. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Okay. Titles. I don't think... Starless Night... Can't stop thinking that Vincent and Stella are a quirky scientist and researcher couple living in the countryside studying the cosmos. Oh, that's cute. I like that. No ketchup. Plastic cow. Plastic cow will be something else. What does the plastic cow represent? I don't know. Kamaki, thank you very much. Mentioning the stars feels a bit too on the nose. I agree. I agree. I agree. So, I've got a bit of an idea here, so let me run this by you guys, okay? Imagine a title that sort of is a bit of a, not a play on words, but a little bit of symbolism, let's say. So, as a couple, what ruins these two is when one looks into the stars and something happens, something goes wrong. But as a couple, they are ambitious and they are in love. And they want to move on with their lives, and they want to be good together. They want their relationship to prosper and last for a long time. So, how about something about looking up, looking onward? Kendra Bratton, thank you very much for the super. I'm glad I could give you a little constellation. Don't Look Up. Isn't that already a film? Yeah, Don't Look Up was a film that came out in 2021. Starring Jennifer Lawrence. Got a 56 on Rotten Tomatoes. Star Wars. I don't want to include the word stars. I think that's a little... How about... Well, if you're looking... Like, in a relationship, if you want things to work, you kind of look ahead or you look up. So... It notices the signs before the main characters do. Now, that might be good. If I was to subvert expectations with a dog, I would have it escape at the end. The final shot would be the dog running away down the street, or something like that, and it gets away. Look into the abyss. Yeah. How about... Gazing beyond? Hmm? How about that? How about that? A dress! Uh-oh. Because it's not gazing up, it is gazing beyond. Not beyond the stars themselves, beyond what we can comprehend, beyond ourselves. Alright, well this is a working title, let's say. Gazing Beyond, written by Vox, Akuma, and his Kindred. Nice. I'm pretty satisfied with that thing. Thank you for the Akasuba, my darling. Thank you, Meowie, for another super. Isn't it interesting how by the time a star's light reaches us, the star is already dead? Yeah, no, that is true. It does be doing that. Okay. Gazing Beyond. I like it. Okay, with that in mind, guys, that is the first section of this screenplay. We've come up with a plot, have a pair of characters, and we have a clear shot from the beginning to the end. Can people make fan art of it? Abso-fucking-lutely they can! If you want to make fan art of this, that would drive me insane. This would be so cool. So, I am going to continue this story in future streams, but these are going to be members streams. So what I wanted for today to serve as was kind of like a taster session, where if you guys like this kind of content, if you're having fun and you're attached to these characters, grab a membership, and then we'll be doing this every once in a while, maybe once a week if I start really enjoying it. Hey, Kit, thank you very much for the soup. Thank you so much for this. I'm really glad you liked it. I had a lot of fun today. Okay. I'm going to call it there because I need to get set up for the knitting stream, but I will see you guys then. Thank you very much for coming. It was great to get to flex my creative muscles a little bit, and I will see you all next time. Thank you for coming, everyone. Bye-bye. Mwah.